Are you a small business owner or entrepreneur who wants to create a brand that takes your business to another level? Well, you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to break down from top to bottom what it took for brands like Nike, Apple, and even Pampers to build their brands into these huge impactful forces. I will teach you step by step in these ultimate brand identity guide how you can do the same for your business or your next grand idea. I will teach you the 5 steps on how to build your brand, a strong identity, and the top 3 mistakes to avoid when branding. Hey, if we're just meeting, I want to welcome you to Branded Like a Pro. I'm your brand guy, Dennis Boateng, and I help entrepreneurs and businesses overcome not knowing how to launch their ideas by teaching them all things about branding. I've been able to work with brands like ESPN, New Balance, Complex, Kicks to the Pitch, amongst many others. I've branded myself as someone that is good at asking questions, interviewing, and well-versed personality. I've helped many people brand their businesses, and I hope to help you as well. Be sure to subscribe to Branded Like a Pro. And as we progress through this guide, feel free to ask any questions you have, no matter how big or small, in the comments section. So let's start at the basics with the definition of brand identity, because contrary to what you may think, brand identity is not just a logo. Wayfair's senior brand manager, Jared Rosen, explains that brand identity is more than just finishing the right logo to place on a coffee cup sleeve or mount above your front door. It's about crafting a personality that amplifies the core elements to your brand's DNA. A brand's identity is made up of what your brand says, what your values are, how you communicate your product, and what you want people to feel when they interact with your company. Essentially, your brand identity is the personality of your business and a promise to your customers. Again, some strong examples of strong brand identities are Nike, who has a consistent inclusion about everyone being an athlete. Then there's Apple, who has never-ending innovation and is always reinventing the wheel. But for real though, y'all have got to stop with these chargers. Real talk. Another is Pampers. I bet you didn't expect me to say that, huh? The reason is, as a father of a 2-year-old, Pampers sensitive wipes have been by far the best wet wipes we've ever used. If you know, you know. Their brand identity embodies a caring, reliable, quick, effective, and top quality prestigious global brand. These best-selling wipes are not only dermatologist tested, hypoallergenic, and unscented, but they are 20% thicker than the average wipe, and you can feel the difference, like literally protecting your hand when cleaning up the messy ones. That's why my wife loves them so much, plus the thousands of reviews that have this product rated as the #1 best-selling product in the baby category on Amazon. And they are the #1 wipe choice of US hospitals based on hospital sales data. If you're interested in trying them, click the link in the description below. You won't be disappointed. This brand's awareness has a high recognition globally. But anyways, back to brand identity. Before we get into the 5 steps of how to build your brand identity, let's first touch on why is brand identity so important. Brand identity embodies almost everything your business is and does. It can inspire customers and increase a sense of loyalty for your brand. If you've come to understand that your brand is more than just a logo, then the next question that should come to your mind is, how can you replicate what brands like Nike have done and instill unique elements into your business's identity? So to answer that question, let's first break down the 5 components of a well-developed brand identity and why it's so important for you to develop them. Component number 1 is the face of your business. Your brand's logo is the face of your business, but it does not just look amazing or interesting. It tells the public that this image means the name of your company. Component number 2 is credibility and trust. Your brand identity does not just help people remember who you are or your product or service. It makes your brand more authoritative in its respective marketplace. A brand that establishes a face and maintains that face consistently over time develops credibility amongst its competitors and trust among its customers. Component number 3 is advertising impressions. Brand identity is a template for everything you'd include on an advertisement for your business. For instance, print, online, or commercial, on YouTube. A brand with a face and industry credibility is well prepared to promote itself and make impressions on potential buyers. Component number 4 is your company's mission. Your brand's identity gives it something to stand for, which in turn gives your business or idea a purpose. We all know that companies and businesses have a mission statement, but you can't have that without first giving your brand an identity. Component number 5 is generating new customers and delighting existing ones. A brand identity that has a face, trust, and a mission attracts people who agree with what your brand has to offer. Once they become customers, that brand identity you built gives them a sense of belonging. A good product will generate customers, but a brand will generate true advocates. For your business to become well known and a beloved brand name, there's going to be some work. These next simple steps will help you build brand identity. Again, the steps are simple, but you have to work them for them to work. Now, finally, the moment you've been waiting for.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble.
Here are the 5 steps on how to create a brand identity. Step 1, research your audience, value proposition, and competition. Just like all other aspects of starting a business, the first step in creating a brand identity is to complete market research. Brand strategist James Zabik says, one of the most important things to consider when building a brand identity is how your messaging will resonate with your target audience. Start by finding out your audience's pain points and communicating how your company or product helps solve them. James says you might have a flashy logo and eye-catching marketing copy, but if it doesn't address your customers' pain points clearly and effectively, it'll be challenging to build a strong and lasting brand identity. To complete this research, here are 5 things you should clarify and understand. So number 1, your audience. Different people want different things, so you have to know who you are talking to. You can't normally target a product for a college student the same way you do a preteen or a middle-aged adult. You have to learn what your audience wants from your business industry or niche, and it's vital to creating a brand people will love. Number 2, your value proposition and competition. What makes your business unique within your industry or niche? What is it that you can offer that others can't? Knowing the difference between you and your competition is so critical to developing and building a successful brand. Keeping an eye on your competition will also educate you on what branding techniques work well as those that don't. Just look at Instagram and TikTok. TikTok has come and changed the game in terms of short form video, which their biggest competitor picked up on, and now we have Reels on Instagram. But it doesn't stop there. TikTok has now taken the concept stories from Instagram, which is huge because now you have the ability to network and direct message people on TikTok, and you don't have to be following each other to do so. The opportunities are endless. Now TikTok is going after its next biggest competitor, YouTube, and allowing for videos up to 10 minutes, which are searchable on Google now. Number 3, your mission. You individually know what your brand has to offer, but you have to be sure to have a clear and direct mission statement that describes your vision and goals for others to know too. You can't create a personality, aka identity, for your business unless you know what your business is about. Senior brand manager Callie Wilkinson says, don't be afraid to stand for something. Now more than ever, customers are drawn to brands that align with their values. Inject your mission and vision into everything you do and pursue meaningful partnerships with people and organizations that share those values. Number 4, your personality. When you're branding your business, you aren't necessarily branding an individual, but that doesn't mean that you can't be personable when building a brand imaging. Use your font type, colors, and imagery to truly represent who your brand is. Then you can use your tone of voice to enhance that visual representation. Are you offering a lot of encouragement like Nike, or are you innovative and futuristic like Apple? Regardless, be sure to develop your brand as a way to represent your business. This research may be boring, but the more you know about your business, the stronger your brand identity will be. One trick I like to use when creating the personality of a brand is to get on Pinterest and create a mood board for how my client wants their brand to feel and look. This mood board pretty much gives them help on their identity, personality that they want their brands to have. Number 5, SWOT analysis. Lastly, completing a SWOT analysis can be beneficial to better understanding your brand. It will help you consider the characteristics of your brand and help you pinpoint characteristics you want to portray in the brand. SWOT stands for strengths, meaning positive characteristics of your business that provide an advantage over your competition. Weaknesses, characteristics that prove to be a disadvantage to your business. Opportunities, changes and trends in your industry that offer opportunities for your business. And then threats, elements in the environment or industry that may cause problems for your business. Now, on to step 2 on how to create a brand identity. Step 2, design the logo and template for your brand. So now for the fun stuff. Once you know your business inside and out, now it's time to bring your brand to life. Design is that silent ambassador for your brand, and here's what you need to know. Your logo. As mentioned before, a logo is not the entirety of your brand identity, right? But it's a vital component in the branding process. A logo is the most recognizable part of your brand. It will be on everything from your products, website, business cards to ads. With your logo on all these items, your brand should look as cohesive as this. Next, interesting form. As important as your logo is, it's not the only thing that makes your brand identity strong. Your packaging, product or products, or the way you present your services all need to play a role in your brand identity. Visually representing your business in everything you do will create consistency and help create a familiarity with your consumers. A great example of this is McDonald's Golden Arch. This iconic M is known and recognized all over the world. Even my 2-year-old recognizes it. Next, we have color and type. Creating a color palette is a way to enhance your identity. These colors can provide you with variety so you can create unique designs while remaining true to your brand's identity. However, your brand's type, aka the font, can be a double-edged sword if not used properly. Even though the mixing and matching of type designs has become a big trend, it doesn't mean that mixing a handful of fonts is a good idea for your business. Between your logo, your website, and any other documents your business creates, there should be a consistent use of typography to fonts. Take Nike, for example. Their ads and websites all keep the same typeface throughout all aspects of their business, and it works wonders for them. Next, templates. You more than likely send out emails, type up letters, or give out business cards to potential customers on a daily basis. Create your templates for something even as small as your email signature. This will give your brand a more unified, credible, and professional look and feel. Next, we have consistency. Consistency can't be stressed enough, and it can make or break your brand. Use the templates just mentioned and follow the design choices you've decided for your brand throughout all the areas of your business to create a brand identity that is in true harmony. Next, flexibility. Even with how critical consistency is, remaining flexible in our quickly progressing world that is always looking for the next big and best thing is just as important. This allows for flexibility and tweaks in ad campaigns, taglines, and even a little modernization to your overall brand identity so you can continuously keep your audience engaged and interested. The key to this is just to keep any changes you make consistent throughout your entire brand. For example, if you change the design on your business cards, your website and everything else you've branded should follow suit, and so on. Next, document. One of the most effective ways for your brand to stick to its identity or branding rules is to create a brand guide that documents all of the do's and don'ts of your brand. If you'd like a free brand guide template to use for your business, click the link below to grab your copy now. Here's an example of a great brand guide from Nike to reference. Now, I know this is a lot of work, but trust me, you don't want to skip these steps. You will pay for it more ways than one. If you started your brand with a logo, you're doing it wrong. If you need any additional assistance or help developing your brand and identity, be sure to reach out to us here in the comments or hop over to our branding and marketing agency, Eyenspire Pro, at eyenspirepro.com, and we will help you create and elevate your brand. You can find the link below in the description. Now, on to step 3 of how to create a brand identity. Step 3, integrate language you can use to connect, advertise, and embody on social media. Now that you've developed your brand for your business and taken all the necessary steps to build it, you are now ready to integrate your brand within your community. The best way to accomplish this is for your brand to provide quality content. Former Global Marketing Partnerships Director for HubSpot, Patrick Shea, says, in every way, your content is your brand online. It's your salesperson, your store, your marketing department. It's your story, and every piece of content you publish reflects on and defines your brand. So great content, great brand; boring content, boring brand. Next, language. Be sure to use language that match the personality of your brand. If your brand identity is high-end, use professional language. If your brand is laid back, be more conversational. The language you choose to use as a brand will be woven through and integrated throughout your whole business. So it's important that you carefully craft your tone to match your brand's personality. Let's look at Budget On Point as an example, which is a personal budgeting consulting service committed to teaching you how to get on top of your finances so you control tomorrow. Their slogan is where living paycheck to paycheck stops. This language is so ingrained to where the owner has written an ebook called The 7 Steps to Stop Living Paycheck to Paycheck. The language is empowering, forward-looking, and aiding people with the tools to get on top of their finances so their finances don't control them. If you're someone in need of help with getting on top of your finances, click the link below to receive a special 50% off your copy of the ebook. Next, connections and emotions. How you connect the emotions you give through your brand is key. People love stories, and even more, they love stories that move them both emotionally and with action. A strong brand identity can establish an emotional connection with its consumers, who in turn can be a solid foundation for building a long-lasting relationship with the brand. Next, advertise. Designing ads, regardless of traditional or digital, is the most efficient way of introducing your brand to the world. It's a method to get the message of your brand seen and heard by the audience you are targeting. Next is social media. Social media is another great way to establish a connection with your consumers. There's no shortage of platforms, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Metaverse, Pinterest, amongst others. The internet offers a ton of digital real estate you can use to establish your brand identity. Social media is also extremely important when it comes to conversating directly with your customers and creating a liking for your brand. If you get mentioned in a comment, post, tweet, or status, especially if the customer has a question or concern, be sure to give your brand a good reputation by responding efficiently to your customers or potential customers. Engagement is key. Now, while doing all this engagement on social media, it's imperative to avoid these top 3 mistakes when branding. Let's talk about it in step 4. Before we get to the top 3 mistakes that businesses make though, when branding, like this video and comment down below any questions you may have about building your brand identity or any other questions that you may have about branding, period. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, because on this channel, we help entrepreneurs and businesses overcome not knowing how to launch their business and ideas by teaching them all things about branding. Now on to step 4 of how to build your brand identity. Step 4, know what to avoid when branding. Caution, if you do these things with your brand, you may be risking it all. Here are the top 3 mistakes to avoid when branding your business. You can spend all the time in the world developing your strong brand identity and following all the steps I've shared here. But if you get caught up into any of these following practices I'm about to share, then your brand may very well fail or falter quickly. Don't let all your hard work go to waste by falling victim to any of the following. Number 1, don't give your customers mixed messages. As you establish your brand identity and presence in the public, be sure to know what to say and not to say. Use the appropriate language and visuals. Just because it makes sense to you doesn't mean it will to your customers or potential customers. Number 2, don't copy your competitors. Your competition may have top of the line exemplary branding, and you might feel that since you're selling the same products or services, that you may want to do what you know works. Don't. Take what they do into account and put your own twist on it to make sure your business stands out in your industry even more than theirs. Number 3, scale, don't sacrifice. Wayfair's senior brand manager, Jared Rosen, says, as your brand scales onto new channels, resist the urge to simply chase trends that don't align with your brand's DNA. Scaling identity only works when you iterate off your original song sheet rather than writing a new song entirely. Step 5, monitor your brand to maintain its brand identity. Like other elements of marketing, it's hard to know what you're doing right or wrong without tracking with some key performance metrics. You can use things like surveys, comments, social media discussions, Google Analytics, Facebook or TikTok pixels to monitor your brand and get a feeling of how people are talking about and interacting with you. This will open up the chance to implement changes to your brand as needed, regardless if it's to fix a mistake or improve your brand identity. You need to test, learn, and optimize to maximize your brand. Find out what sets your brand apart from your competitors and find how to communicate it in a manner that builds trust. If your brand, product, or service starts living up to the hype you create, then you will start to build momentum with customers that believe in you and your brand. I know it's a lot.
Open wide!
But creating a memorable brand requires consistent use of type, color, images, and language, but it's all more than worth it in the end. When consumers instantly recognize who your brand is and what your brand stands for based on a logo, then that's when you're more than just a name and symbol. If you're looking to start your own brand but still need help developing your brand and identity, reach out to us here in the comments or hop to our branding and marketing agency, Eyenspire Pro, and we will create and elevate your brand. Now, if you're ready to learn on how to brand and take your business or idea to the next level, click or tap the screen. Again, I'm your guy, Dennis Boateng, and this is Branding Like a Pro. Peace.